Hello, hello, hello.
What up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing alright,
What
man.
do what do you doing subscribing in the chat over here?
Wait, nah, that wasn't me, man. That's Steve.
Uh, yo, welcome in, my friend. Thanks so much for agreeing to do this last minute and making the time. We have crossed paths before on Twitch and been talking a little bit back and forth. I like to kind of start these things out with just kind of letting you riff on your origin story. If someone asks you where that begins for you, that could be childhood, that could be your creativity starting, wherever. When someone asks, what's kind of the beginning for you, what do you say, or how do you describe yourself starting out?
In terms of like music and stuff, and just before I go on with that, yo, it's an absolute honor to be on here. By the way, thank you again for the invite.
Not a problem,
Um,
my friend.
yo, yeah. So in terms of music, or freestyling specifically, like I kind of closed up from society for a while. Um, I didn't really like speak to my close friends. I didn't really like socialize around and like get around the community and stuff. I kind of just went and did my own thing. Like I worked, I studied, I chased my own pursuits and stuff in terms of like my interests. Because at the time I was really into, I guess like the pseudo side of life. I
And
mean, it's probably not like
when about
the
was
best
this?
time I was thinking. Probably about 4 years ago. No,
Okay.
about four, yeah, yeah. Um, so about 4 years ago, got into that. Did my own sort of thing. Enjoyed helping people actually, and then came back into the room, like my life sort of thing, and caught up with my friends. And I found that I just couldn't hold conversations as well anymore.
Okay.
I would stop a lot. I would use filler words and just have to think a lot about what I had to say. And then I decided to incorporate something I loved since I was a kid, which was music, and um, a skill that I needed to learn, which was to flow better in conversation, at least to have conversations. So I did that, and then kind of just gathered the skills to do everything. One of my friends told me I need to stick to it. You're onto something. So I did for 2 hours every day. And now
With
we're
the
here, man.
freestyling.
3, 4 years later. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
when you started with your freestyling, were you doing this just on your own from the beginning, or were you kind of trying to put it on Twitch or other places right away?
so during the time when I was trying to get back into like socializing and stuff,
Yeah.
I decided to start streaming, but on a lot smaller platform.
Hmm.
And it was called You Now.
Yes, I know it.
It's
Mm.
yep. So I was on there for about 3 years, 3.5 years prior to this, like starting Twitch. And then yeah, I just wanted to see if people would vibe with my music. And it was kind of a place for me that I felt comfortable to just like even if made mistakes on stream, it was fine. Like I would just keep pushing myself to get better slowly.
Yeah. What made you change platforms
I
for the
did
live
move
streaming
around a
part of it?
bit.
Hmm?
I moved around quite a bit. I've been on 3 platforms totally, but it's because I found that despite people still enjoying my music, there wasn't enough audience for me to at least start making music sustainable for in terms of like financial and
Mm.
keeping a roof over my head and stuff. And
Right.
moving on to Twitch to me was kind of like moving into the big scenes,
Mm-hmm.
like actually taking my stuff serious and trying to find a way to make this work. So
Got it.
when I took the step to move to Twitch, for the first 3 months, I started off really slow.
Mm.
After the 3 month mark, I just happened to draw the lucky straw, and TikTok really blew up for me
Right.
in terms of Valorant freestyles and stuff. So that's when I got really into that, and then
And I've seen that because
now
you're
it's
you're
yeah.
pushing up around 150K on TikTok now for followers. I know.
Almost there, man. Almost.
You're close there.
Yeah.
And when was that you said? So that was 3 months in. When date wise was this? Was this last year?
Yeah. So 2021.
Yeah.
So I started in April, I believe, if my
Right.
memory is correct.
Yeah.
And it was 3 months after that. So.
Right on. And I'm gonna take questions, and I have my own things, but and you can, if there's any topics you want to breach, like just go for it. I see in the chat, first question here from Mazala. What's your favorite instrument if you have one? I know you were playing guitar early on stream. Do you play anything else, or what do you like, instrument wise?
I actually wanted to learn piano, like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But my brother kind of convinced me that guitar was the way to go, so I ended up learning guitar, and I didn't look back. So
Okay.
it's I do like the guitar, but the ukulele is just easier in travel size. So yeah.
Nice. Serious skills indeed. Yes, we know it. I like how Talman almost accidentally made that into a URL in the chat. Sanjioker.has. I don't recommend anyone click accidentally created website links in the chat. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Just in case.
Yeah, this is a good question. Just Aussie in here saying, when did you decide to combine the two? You had already been practicing at this freestyling, and eventually the things that would start to blow up a bit on social media were the combination of freestyling and games, specifically Valorant. Were you doing that from the beginning, or were you just straight freestyling at the beginning? Yeah.
The incorporation was actually really accidental. Not gonna lie. Like on the other platforms that I was on, it was always just me in front of the camera, and like after some time of looking at yourself in front of a camera and talking and singing and stuff,
Yeah.
it gets really like it can get really into your head. For everyone it's different. For me, because I'm a person who doesn't like, I'm not confident in myself, but I'm very realistic in terms of my skill set. So I know like what I'm capable of, but I never try to overreach myself sometimes, just like because fear of failure sort of stuff.
Yep.
So when I did that, it kind of, when I moved to Twitch, I realized it was a gaming platform, so I needed to find a way to get my reach out there too. And I enjoyed playing games, so I was just like, what if I put myself in a corner and I just rap?
Yeah.
And then we can watch the gameplay instead.
Yeah. Hey, so it's kind of yeah, as you say, it's a kind of a serendipitous thing that it was something that worked out, but also had a purpose of kind of diverting a little bit of that pressure, maybe from just having a full screen camera on you for hour after hour, day after day.
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of like, the way I see it is a TV show or like a concert, right? You wouldn't want to watch someone's face for more than an hour or two. Like it, to me anyway, it feels like we might doze off. So my idea is to try constantly capture attention, in terms of like getting the reach out there in terms of the stream.
Yeah.
So the way I try to set it up, for me at least, is for me to be entertained, I would like to watch gaming play. And if there's cool music with that, then hell yeah, that's a whole vibe.
I've interacted with a lot of artists over the last few years, some of which have kind of similar ambitions to myself, some very different, same with their skill sets. One thing that some people do a good job of managing, and a lot of people really don't, is kind of reflection of your own skill sets and self-awareness of what you expect when you put something out, be it a post on social or a live stream or a song very commonly now. And it's pretty easy to see people kind of get themselves a little bit upset about the response to something or the lack of response to something. But what you said there about I think is really important what you mentioned about, you know, what you would like to watch. I think people in general are not amazing at being self-aware and brutally honest with themselves and saying, if this came across my feed exactly as it is it really good enough content? Is it really engaging enough that this person I don't know or care about yet, I have a reason to give any of my time? Or are we being a little bit wishful thinking, and you're kind of like, be nice and listen to me, or I hope people just give it a chance, or, you know, and at the end of the day,
No,
you do have to win people over, and I think it's a very, you know, a very good observation of you saying, hey, this is something that would make it more entertaining for me or enhance the experience, and also that you being satisfied with something is pretty evident to viewers, right? People aren't stupid, so if you're having a good time, it's a lot easier for them to do it as well.
definitely, man. Definitely. It's what I say to people on my stream all the time, and like I always say to people who ask me, and I preach like the fact that you need to be brutally honest with yourself, and you have to be realistic about the way you see it, or else, like, sometimes when people send me songs and stuff and ask me to listen to them, I always ask them first, like, do you want me to give you like what I honestly think about it,
Yeah.
or do you want me to like just
Hype you
enjoy
up.
the song?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because sometimes you just want to enjoy the song for how it is, because it sounds good,
Yeah.
But when you're listening to a song and you're trying to get an opinion for it, you're digging deep down into the lyrics, to the context of the song, to the
Right.
structure of it, how it sounds, dynamics between like the voice and the verses and stuff. Like, I really listen like to all of it, because it's how I learned how to sing and how I learned how to rap and freestyle and flow. So
Yeah. It's kind of like, do you want to be, I think there's a lot of situations like that with, do you want to be, like, comfortable, or do you want to be better? Same thing you run into a lot, I think, in a pretty common situation if you look in like and hello, by the way, Neko, thanks for that. Our alerts are muted right now, so I'll get to the subs later on. But do you know, I think a lot of people, you get similar situations with like friendships or relationships as well. It's kind of that venting versus, do you want a solution or do you want someone to just listen to what you're saying right now?
definitely,
And you
man.
run into that a lot in the creative fields when it comes to people asking for feedback. One thing I love is when people will send you a song that's on Spotify, and instead of just being straight up honest and asking like, hey, can you listen to this, or if you like it, like, share it, you know, or like, do you know anyone who would like this music? And instead they send a link to a song on Spotify, and they're like, you got any feedback? What do you think of this? Why you don't want feedback? You've already published this shit. It's like you're not gonna take it down and like release it and go through the whole thing for you know what I mean? Like, you're not really asking for feedback right now.
Like,
yeah,
they wanna know like if this suits your vibe, and if like you can like listen to it on stream and react to it, so then it gets out there and stuff. And honestly, like, I do respect it at times, but there's a time and place for everything as well.
Couple of viewer questions before I move forward. What's the first video game you remember, or like a first game that really got you into gaming?
Like into gaming or into rapping while gaming?
I think this is more specifically just games.
Just towards gaming?
Yeah, was there early kind of...
So definitely the three games that stick out the most in my memory is Counter-Strike, Maple Story, and Dota.
Okay.
Dota.
Nice,
I don't know how people pronounce it.
Yeah.
Those are definitely the three games I remember most as a kid, just playing as like growing up through my teenager years and like primary school years and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah, I remember playing Maple Story in like school.
Yeah, just
That's amazing.
the Maple Story music videos.
I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Uh,
Oh,
so if you go on YouTube, right, and
yeah.
you type in Maple Story music videos, people made
Okay.
like little lyric videos
Mm,
with Maple Story scenes and stuff that they would do like in game, and like they would
yeah.
just print screen and then capture it and then make that as the scene and the next scene, and it's like, yeah, a whole music video with lyrics and everything. It's just, it was so
Nice.
interesting.
Uh, here we got. How about some inspirations on the musical side of things? Specifically, maybe anyone that comes to mind for freestyles, fluidity, vocabulary, the
When I
wordiness.
first started,
Mhm.
Logic.
Mhm.
I heard his freestyles on Sway
Yeah.
and on the morning radio shows, and I lost my mind, bro.
Right.
I was like, how can someone think like that so quick, like off top head,
Mhm.
you know? Um, and this was before I realized like a lot of the time it's because we memorize our songs and then we're drawing lines from them. So there's some of like people's freestyles we hear that they'll use lines that they've used from songs. And Logic was the first person I heard that didn't really do that too often.
Mhm.
And I was blown away, man. Like,
Yeah.
I drew into it, and then I started listening to his songs, and then I got into a rapper named Samsa,
Mhm.
very very lyrical artist.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I really vibe with your music too, because it's got such a wide range of vocabulary and words that you wouldn't really like
Thanks.
generally hear in music.
Right.
And it works though. It works
Mhm.
so well. And yeah, so those in terms of those are my inspirations for starting freestyle.
Awesome.
I definitely dived a lot into other rappers since then, but yeah.
A lot of people we have. This is not even. It's not. If people listen to this on audio only, it's not even gonna make fucking sense, Ash. But Ash in the chat has a little emote with a sloth with two octopus tentacles. Will he name my sluctopus? Can you just so we can
I
move
don't think I
past this?
could
You
come
mind if
up
you can?
with with a name better than Sloctopus, to be honest. But I mean, if we have to give him like a normal like a name,
Mm,
then let's call him Barry.
Barry,
He looks like a Barry.
I like that. And do you have a to your favorite freestyle artist these days? Same. Do you still go back to
Um,
Logic? Do you have other people you find yourself paying more attention to?
in terms of freestyles, I haven't really watched like the last freestyle video I watched was J. Cole's one before he released his latest album.
Mm,
But in terms of just rap music lately and rap influences, I've been listening to a lot of they're kind of like mashups with
okay.
all of like the old school rappers like Notorious, Tupac, DMX, Nas, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about we talked a little bit just briefly um, before starting this, and we were kind of just sound checking things. Um,
Hmm.
what's for you when it comes to your musical expression outside of freestyling? You'd mentioned,
Hmm.
wanting to release more music, and we talked a little bit
Yes.
about, polishing things and mixing and mastering it and the more technical side of things. But if you let's start with what you have released. So you have a song. You have a song out. You did a performance of it earlier, and then I played it during the intro to my stream here. Love
Yes.
Letter. When did you
Yes.
put it? The idea, I think, in the lyrical content of the song is pretty self-explanatory as far as if people listen to it, they'll get it.
Yeah.
But when did you put that out, and how did that come together? Did you do the beat? Did you find something? Tell
So
us about putting that song out.
I'll probably I'm gonna answer that in reverse. So I'm gonna
Okay,
answer the second question first, if that's cool.
sure.
Um, because the second question will answer the first question.
Got it.
So with that song, or at that time when I was like before, I published the song and stuff, it was my first time ever experiencing how to publish a song and going through the whole process of like, having to find a publisher for it and then making sure that it goes to different platforms. Is it like a platform that's going to, help you monetize it as well? Or is it just going to publish it for you and then, like see whatever happens from there?
Right.
Like, to be honest, I'm still very new to the industry. Like, I don't know anything about that side.
Yeah.
All I do is rap.
Yeah.
Like, I just freestyle on beats at the moment. That's it. A lot of my SoundCloud tracks are just, random freestyles. I just clicked record and then I was like, cool, that's it. So, with the release of Love Letter, I was just really eager to figure out the process in which to publish a song on those platforms and have it out there. The idea of it kind of just came randomly because love has always been a very relatable topic in terms of my life, and it's always been a major influence in terms of my music and how I feel.
And go ahead.
When I released it, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I think it was like a year or two ago.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
The distinction, I guess, between as well, freestyling, and you do a lot of freestyles. You're talking about, I know you want to release some things. Do you do a lot of writing as well? Do you have
I've started to do it.
Okay.
I've started to write a lot more just because I know that I need to get stuff released and I need to have stuff backed up. The problem for me in terms of writing is that I'm pretty sure like a lot of writers can relate and stuff too, is that I'm a perfectionist.
Sure.
So when you're freestyling, you don't have to really think about what you're saying per se. You think about the
on
context.
a deeper level.
You think about, you think about your punchline or your run or your filler, and then you drop it in. You make it rhyme, you make it work, and beat write it. In terms of writing, you have so much time to prep. Like everything's got to sound perfect. It's got to sound like it connects into the context. Each line should be there purposefully and with meaning. So for me, it's very hard to find the right words because I'm so used to freestyling and just, like.
Do you find that?
It.
Do you find that daunting? The feeling that it needs to be perfect.
Absolutely terrifying. Yeah.
I think one thing to think about as well that I've found is don't be too. It's a balance that will kind of see you through. Because if you think about the things that like so far have gone well for you, I'm sure you can. There've been videos where you think it's like your most fire freestyle and you're like, oh, I actually had like a pretty good double meaning or something there, and it like doesn't really get picked up that much, and then there's just like a goofy ass clip that gets 50,000 views on TikTok right away, and someone's like, I don't know, and that ends up being something that brings people in. And also just think about these things that are pretty raw that you've done so much of has been what people have gravitated to you for already. I think there's a lot of, I know way too many people who are on, they go so deep on trying to get everything perfect they never release anything, and it's very frustrating because they're very talented people as well. And I would just say I can tell you, since if you haven't been over this kind of like hump yet of releasing a lot of music, I can tell you I absolutely have songs from a few years ago that I listen to them now and I think, I've improved a lot as a vocalist, but also just the polish of the song, because I've always like mixed and mastered my own things. And so some of them sound pretty rough, like early on. I'm like, oh, that's like really an annoying, like I should have done something different there and all this. Yeah. And yet those songs are ones people are like, will literally still, some of those ones will be the ones that people are like, oh, I found this. This is like my new favorite song. And someone will put it in their YouTube video and be like, yeah, I love this one or whatever. It's really catchy. And to me, I'm kind of like, damn, that sounds not even half as polished as like the stuff I release now. But I think that also just goes to show how like self-critical we are. You know, like, I think, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
25.
25. So I'm 29, and I definitely remember, you know, like the in that transition period of like MP3s to like streaming and stuff like that. I definitely remember like downloading music or having things in like your iTunes library as a kid.
Oh yeah,
and
man.
and
All
and
the
you'd
time.
and you'd like I remember like having some favorite songs that would be on repeat, and I didn't realize why this was until I got into music. At the time, I was just like, huh, this one sounds kind of different than the others or whatever. But it was literally like a demo version or like some live version or some friend's song or whatever. And I didn't know it sounded crappy or why, but it was still like a favorite. And
Yeah.
and then I realized,
I've.
you know, as a
Mhm.
listener, maybe that isn't as detrimental as I think, you know, when I'm making music, and I shouldn't like hate that everything's not perfect, you know.
I feel that, man. I feel that 100%. Like, growing up in high school, all I listened to was covers, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's something about having the raw sound and just having like a nice clean voice on it. It just changed things, man. It hit different.
Yeah. Um,
It's,
this is, do you watch your um, freestyles back or your streams back ever?
so my streams I do watch after stream
Mm-hmm.
because that's when I usually like edit my clips and stuff.
Right?
But before that, I used to post a video a day on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, but I never watched them back yet. I wanted to archive them so I could see my progression until now.
Yeah.
And it still amazes me to today, not gonna lie. So if you go to my Instagram and you scroll all the way down to the bottom,
Yeah.
there's like a very first video, and that was when I first like decided that I'm going to do this for at least 2 hours a day. I'm going to record and make an archive of this.
Yeah. That's
So
amazing.
yeah,
It's getting to see that process is always fun.
oh, dude, it blows me away every time, to be honest. And you just scroll up randomly, and then you just tap one random video and just see progression. And it's just interesting.
Let's talk about the branding side of things for a sec.
Hmm.
Two things that I want you to speak on there if you can. One is the name that you use, be it just your name versus other things added to it or made up completely together. You know, we don't know each other yet on a personal level, so that's the first thing, the
Yeah.
artist name, origins of that,
Hmm.
and why you chose it. And also the sunglasses. The sunglasses are ever present. They are an artist motif for you. So tell us how that came to be.
So in terms of my name, uh, Sanji has always been like a nickname I've had in high school. So like everyone who's known me like around like my IRL area, like my real life and where I come from, then they know me as Sanji or as Safeway Andrew, like the Safeway guy, because that's where I
Naturally.
worked at the time for most of my high school.
Got it.
Yeah. Like I would go to parties like after work, and I would just still be rocking my uniform, name badge and all, and I'm just like, what's up, guys?
Safeway Andrew rocking in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So Sanji was the first part of that.
Mhm.
It's actually comes from a character from an anime called One Piece,
Okay, yeah.
and he falls in love with um pretty girls he meets like
Mhm.
very like instantly. And in high school, I had that like I fell in love a lot.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Bit of a romantic rather than a fighter, you know.
Mhm.
But that happened, and the second part of my name is actually the ochre part. Is if you switch the I and the J, it becomes Joker,
Right.
and that's just because I really enjoy the Joker's idea of nihilism. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know that everything in life there is a purpose and a reason and all. But I kind of enjoy the chaos of it too. Sometimes like some things just we can't control, and that amuses me,
Yeah.
even when it happens to me. So
And and the famous sunglasses.
sunglasses. I don't like my eyes.
Okay.
I know like a lot of people are really expecting a deeper meaning than that, but yeah, I don't like my eyes. That's pretty much it, to be honest.
I bet they're great.
Um, I
I bet they're great.
I
I
lose
reveal when.
I lose my focus a lot. So like
Mm.
if I take my glasses off, you'll notice it more like as the stream progresses.
Mm.
But I stare a lot like at different screens or like
You have lovely
at
eyes.
chat
They look
or
like normal eyes. What is it?
no, but like if I'm streaming and I'm
Mm.
playing a game, it's kind of weird if I'm looking at like different spots on the screen and like
I see.
looking left and
Mhm.
right and all that stuff. So the glasses help kind of make it look like I'm focused
Mm.
when, to be honest, it's very like I'm struggling to focus.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm just gonna put these back on now.
Something special. We always like to get something special out of the guests on here
Yeah.
for their day ones.
Yeah, of course.
Love it. What we mentioned work on upcoming music. What does, as much as you want to talk about right now, what does that look like for you? Maybe do you have any idea of like how much you want to release this year, or what you think is realistic for you?
So, how much I want to release and what is realistic is definitely two different answers for me.
Okay.
What I want to release is like us, like maybe two or three singles, an EP, and an album, maybe. But I mean, like, in terms of my knowledge and where I'm at now as a musician,
Yeah.
realistically, that's overreaching a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to learn to be able to do things for myself and by myself a lot, as well as have input from other producers and audio engineers, rappers,
Right.
singers. It's how I developed my style. I took a lot of like intake and constructive criticism from a lot of my friends that I've met from all over the world, and I took my favorite parts out of them and formed it into my style
Yeah.
to what you see today when I freestyle. So that's why I really envy people who mix and master their own songs, produce their
Mm.
own beats and stuff. Like whether it's one or the other or both, like it's an amazing talent, especially if you are a singer slash rapper or one or the other.
Right.
So
I think anything that like everyone has their different skill sets, but I think you're probably right. Anything that can help you be a little more independent. And I think one thing that is good to keep in mind, or people struggle with a little bit when they talk about people who make their own beats and mix and master, or they do this or they don't do that, or is it doesn't have to be it's always kind of this spectrum or this sliding scale, right, where it could be that you only have time to start learning some production, but what it lets you do is get like a demo of an idea down on your own, and then the end result, if you work with someone else and maybe they're better at putting some lush instruments over it and making it really sound polished, your idea still gets translated better than if you couldn't do that at all. Or maybe
Yes.
you make some of your beats start to, this is where I've gotten, because kind of the pandemic for me was my time with extra time inside, was kind of okay, I'm gonna start learning how to produce my own beats, because I'd worked with beats for a long time, done my lyrics, I would mix and master after the fact, but as far as the instrumentals, I was pretty much, lost. I didn't, again, that was a piece of the puzzle that I couldn't really do on my own. So even though I
Um,
make more of them
and that's
now, Go ahead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm definitely in that spot, like, but without the mix mastering spot, and
Mm,
that's where I'm heading into now.
mm,
And then it goes into the beats and all that stuff. So that's it's why I like absolutely respect you so much, man, and like I love your music for that too, because it comes from you. Like it's not a beat you've heard and translated into what you feel,
mm.
but the beat itself is your interpretation straight from the beginning, you know?
Sure.
And yeah, like
Thank you.
it's
It's
why I enjoy it so much, man.
very kind
Seriously.
of you. Although I would say my in between now is I still, when I think of it this way, like, if someone only dedicates themselves to one thing and they become insanely good at that one thing and they have all this practice in it. So I still look at that where, sometimes there's a lot of people who are much stronger and more diverse producers than I am. And so a lot of
Yeah.
times I kind of take a hybrid approach where a certain song, if I hear kind of an idea that, or I think here in my head, like an idea that I think I can do it justice, then that's awesome and I can do it on my own. But it doesn't like stop me from still, a producer friend sends something or like I hear something from someone else and still work. So I don't, like most of the
Mm.
stuff recently
Yeah.
I've done on my own, but still I always kind of keep my ear to the ground because there will be people who, they do as much beat making as I do rapping, and so they're that much better at that
Yeah.
element of the process, and so maybe it lines up. But like you say,
Oh, definitely.
it's all part of that
Um,
spectrum.
yeah, man. Like at least learning the bare bones, it gives us a way to template, and it gives an easier way for other people to interpret what we're trying to bring across when we're like sending it to a producer or
Yeah,
a proper beat maker to rework it.
yeah, absolutely. Um, your next release, do you have something specific in mind?
I have a couple of ideas actually.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that I'm fairly close to in terms of writing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly close to finishing.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get like different takes on it so I can hear the different sounds and the
Mm-hmm.
different like ways it could go in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we got a couple of things cooking. I
Nice.
got a few things planned that realistically I could do and I can do. Um, I want to learn my technical side first though, like audio engineering and mix
Gotcha.
mastering sort of stuff. So,
Gotcha. Are there any favorite influences outside of hip hop or genres that you find that you maybe right now or other periods in your life have been types of music that you've really enjoyed? Or have you always been all
movies.
about hip hop?
Actually wasn't. Uh, believe it or not, I don't actually listen to hip hop a
Mm,
lot outside of like music and my streaming.
right?
Um, I listen to a lot more R&B, pop, a lot of cheesy music. Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
like when I say cheesy, I mean like very head over heels, hopeless romantic sort of songs.
Yeah.
Um, movies have definitely influenced my life a lot, and in terms of like how music is portrayed and the steps of going through a lot of things. I got a lot from movies and just interpreting them with like real life.
Mm.
So it got me through a lot of my life. Not gonna lie. So
What are
yeah.
your do you have any films you think people should see or that you recommend if kind of go-tos if people ask about
In terms of
films?
like inspiring for music, like towards the music side, or just
Could be.
good
It could be
movies in
that. It
general.
could be something that was just a story that you related to or that you made you think about life, or it could be right directly to the music. Either whatever comes to mind or just a
Um,
movie you like.
so I have a real deep interest in philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So something to like a movie that really made me think a lot was The Collateral Beauty.
Okay. I don't know it.
Very good movie. Very good movie. In terms of music wise, I really enjoyed if you're more on like the rom-com side of
Mm-hmm.
things, then music and lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of learning to, incorporate story and your life into rap and feeling the passion for it, I really enjoyed like the what's it? All Eyes on Me, the Tupac story one,
Yep.
and as well as Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
The Notorious movie.
I find any kind of like artist stories or bios like pretty like
Oh
inspiring.
yeah,
I always feel
they
like
they
a real rush
motivate me
of
so
energy.
hard.
Same
Mm-hmm.
thing. Same.
Just in terms of like my top ones though, those
Yeah.
definitely hit home every single time.
Got it. Some more questions in chat. Ash wonders. Ash, I don't know. People in chat have this weird thing with my pet ferret where they will ask, "Has Paisley ever met like a tortoise? Has Paisley ever met a zebra?" Because I think one time I talked about her meeting like a family dog or something like that. And so, anyways, but it leads into I guess a more regular question. They
Mm-hmm.
Ash asked, "Do you have any pets Paisley could meet? Do you have any pets? Have you ever been an animal person?"
I've had quite a few pets in my life,
Mm?
but due to unfortunate circumstances,
Mm.
I've lost many of them, and
Oh.
I only have my cat left at the moment.
Mm.
Her name's Nami, but she's in the lounge room. I can try to get her if you like.
Should we have the meet chat?
I don't know how
I'm gonna
long
grab
she'll sit
I'm
still
gonna grab
for.
Paisley. No, Paisley. Yeah, it's
Alright,
fine. It doesn't have to be for long.
alright, I'll
Let's
go
go.
grab her.
Let's go.
Give me a second. Hold up. I got you.
Okay. Pay attention, Paisley. Let's get the light adjusted here. It's kind of bright, Pace. I think you could. Congratulations there, Ash. Yeah, I know, Maz. I know. With Maz, Felix, Dakota. Do it on Discord sometime too. Paisley patiently awaiting here. And Scratch trying to pick a grumpy cat up. Oh. Yeah.
Hi there.
All right, this is a podcast first. There you go.
You're alright, Nami.
I'll put her up on stream here. There you go,
Go.
Pace. All right, what do we
She's
what do you think, Paisley?
a little shy. She's
Yeah.
trying to get comfy.
Paisley's just a little old.
There you go. There you go, Nami.
Uh, how long have you had Nami?
For about a year and a half, 2 years now.
Okay. And do you get it from a kitten or is she older than
Yeah, I've
a
had
year
her
and a half?
since she was about like 6 weeks.
Yeah. Awesome. I
yeah,
love the
my
colors,
friend-
the fur pattern as well.
She's the cutest, man. Honestly, like I fell in love with her the moment I met her.
Yeah. I know how that is. Hello. Romantic
Yeah,
even when it comes to the pets.
Yeah, but she usually chills.
Nice. We had a more deep and less pet related question in the chat. I'm just gonna read that word for word from Just Aussie here. From working through being awkward with words to freestyling almost every day, what was the hardest part or piece of diversity for you, and were there any times you wanted to give up? What pushed you through to keep it going? So maybe just you can talk about the challenges on that journey if you ran into some.
I'm just gonna let Nami out real quick.
Yeah,
and,
go for it.
Hold up, yeah. She's just getting a little energetic. I brought you
Hey, you know, Hurricane, that might bring in the viewers.
All right. Um, so in terms of challenges, I think the biggest one for me was putting myself. So on you now, there's a system where you can actually guest people and drag people up and talk to them, socialize,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like a Discord call, like we're doing right now.
Right.
Um, so you can do that on that platform, and I think the hardest thing for me was actually, having people come up and talk to me and like just um actually in like get to know me and socialize. I'm a very awkward person.
Mm.
I tend to like not think about what I say most of the time, so accident, which makes me really like I guess colloquial or like slack
Mm-hmm.
in terms of my professionalism, but I can also hold it together most of the time.
Have you,
um,
besides music, streaming, being Safeway, Andrew, there had any other jobs along the way that were of note?
uh, I did a lot of work actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've been a waiter at a barbecue restaurant, which you kind of
Yeah.
like you cook for your customers in front of them and stuff. So I got to like experiment with a lot of like cooking and like different stuff, which I do
Cool.
enjoy in my
Yeah.
personal time.
Yeah.
Um, I worked as a tutor as well, like
Mm-hmm.
a teacher to help with homework and get their studies, help people get their studies on track.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't consider it a job, but I really wanted to help people in my year level back then,
Yeah.
or like around my age group that were really struggling leaving high school or like figuring out what they wanted to do or what they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to pursue with their life or whether or not they wanted to take a break, just
Yeah.
enjoy their time for a bit. So I helped a lot of my friends get through like those sort of situations.
Yeah.
Um, this
Cool.
was around about the time when I started to close up as well.
Mm.
But yeah.
Do you? How do you find this? Maybe I know this is true for me, so I'm projecting a bit here, and you can see if this
Hmm.
applies to you or not. But do you find it easier to, when it comes to emotional or psychological things, big
Hmm.
questions, existential questions, do you find it easier to give feedback or advice to others than to figure something out yourself that you're going through personally?
Yes.
Mm.
Only because the way I see things is that, there's two things that kind of happen when you give advice to someone looking from the outside.
Yeah.
Because there's one way, which is looking at it from the inside and being in the situation. And usually, when we do ask someone for their opinion, it's because you want to see an outside view of the situation as well.
Mm.
Um, then it's up to you whether or not you want to take the advice, and change your perspective or keep things the same.
Yeah.
It's definitely what actually kept me pushing through my music on days that I wanted to give up. Um, a lot of my friends kind of helped me get through those situations, and I mean, like I didn't really have a following back then. I didn't have a community to really like fall back properly on.
Right.
It was kind of me just going with as much as I can and trusting the people around me to kind of be honest as much as they can with me. um, and they pushed me through those moments. Listening to, my friends rap or like hearing live music, it made me want it more. So.
We mentioned earlier, and then here again, live music. Um,
Hmm.
you not that long ago had your first performance.
Yes.
Um, how was that experience? How did you feel about that?
Uh, it was exhilarating.
Yeah.
Like I am 100% like addicted to it.
Yeah. I
Um,
understand. I get it. Better than most. I do.
I Yeah, I mean, like I came in with zero expectation. I mean, it's like my first time ever, performing on stage, like
Yeah.
with freestyling.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't prep any singles or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was the underdog,
Yeah.
like I had no experience whatsoever, but I came into the situation and I made the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of friends out of like the whole experience, and it was addictive. So
Yeah.
I definitely can't wait to hopefully keep trying to get more
How did
gigs
that
on
opportunity
performing.
come about? Was this an open mic night? Was this an event someone you knew was? How did you get to perform?
Um, this is the funny part.
Yeah.
So I actually saw an ad on Instagram,
Yeah.
and I sussed it out, and I was like, you know what? Like it won't hurt for me to take a chance at these sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if like at the end of the day I'm going to need experience for this.
Right.
And whether or not, it's as big as they're advertising it or
Right.
as, small or whatever. Like it's good experience.
Yeah.
I firmly believe on making mistakes.
Yes.
Despite having a fear of failure, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of contradicts itself, but at the same time, it's how I cope with the fear of failure.
Yeah.
So I try to embrace, making my own mistakes and learning from them as much as I can. So when I do like, stuff up or, make some sort of error of judgment or the wrong choice, then I always own up to it and I don't regret anything. So.
Yeah. I think, man, there's nothing like live performing and like having that microphone and the response of a crowd
Ah,
I remember literally the first time that I had a show, nervous as hell, like, beforehand, and
yeah.
right, like, oh god, my stomach feels horrible, and all this, and then it happened, and during it was kind of, almost this numb but like beautiful thing, and then afterwards just like, euphoric. It was just perfect. I remember calling my
Oh yeah.
family and talking and just being like, literally in that moment I was kind of like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm sorry, I know I'm still in
Dude,
school and this is not what you I was like, this, I gotta do
I
this, I want to do music.
100%, man. The perfect way to kind of put it into a visual image is like the nerves before the performance is like when a Looney Tunes character drinks caffeine and
Okay.
they just like go bonkers around the room.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly how I felt, man.
yeah.
It's just nerves everywhere.
And how many people ended up being at this thing? You get the
Uh,
ad, you sign up, or you go to it.
so
How many?
this is the thing, right? There was about the idea of it was meant to be singers versus singers, dancers versus dancers, DJs versus DJs,
Okay,
rappers versus rappers, and it
interesting.
was meant to be a boxing fight. It ended up
Boxing.
just being rap battles
Okay.
and live rap performances,
Yeah.
with models as well walking around
When you signed up for it, were you
at the
expecting to have to
specific.
box?
No, no. So everyone had their own categories of what they were doing,
Okay, okay.
and I was in the rap category.
I
So
see.
I was meant to battle other rappers.
Got it.
Um, we ended up still like doing performance versus performance sort of stuff.
Mm.
We had musicians perform sets and stuff. It was actually a really enjoyable night for how kind of all thrown together it was. Like
Mhm.
the person who was meant to stream the evening, um, we also like it kind of just disappeared as well. But I mean, I really enjoyed the evening
Mm.
regardless, to be honest. So.
And yeah, no, I see. I'm the podcast question bot. Oh God, no, just I'll see. It's great. I love seeing it. I will continue with my train of thought, just not to interrupt a discussion as much. But I'm keeping note of chat and stuff. I love seeing the questions. I know one that Neko started this sentiment, and then also I see followed up as well here. Neko had asked, what's a place you really want to visit, and also says, what are your top 3 places you've been or want to visit. You can take that,
Mhm.
how you like. Let's talk
Yeah,
places.
sure. Um, I've only actually been out of the country twice in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, country as in Australia. Sorry, I keep forgetting
Yeah.
we're not from the same place sometimes. But
That's right.
yeah. So I've been out of Australia twice, and
Mhm.
to the same place. I went to Vietnam.
Okay.
That's where my parents are from.
Got it.
So I went once when I was about 5 or 6,
Mhm.
and then I went about probably like 4, 5 years ago.
Mm.
About there now, yeah, 5 years, 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
So it was a really nice experience. In
How long
terms
this
of
most
places,
recent trip? How long were you there?
about 6 weeks.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I was there for a while. I really, it's very interesting to experience different culture, and having been there for like 6 weeks, you really like adjust to the lifestyle there too, which
Mhm.
is really interesting. But I mean, obviously, there's differences because we have our own currency exchanges and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So, like, I didn't have to work and all that stuff. But
Oh.
honestly, I'm really intrigued about like the culture there and how the lifestyle is.
Yeah.
It's intriguing.
Yeah. And
In
we're.
terms of places I wanted to visit,
Mhm.
Japan, Sweden, and Italy.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your ass to Sweden. We'll get you in the studio here.
Dude, I
We'll do
really
it.
want
We'll
to,
do it
man.
up.
Like this is apart from the US as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to see the US as well. Like
Mm.
it looks like such an amazing place. But I'm a sucker for scenery.
Mm.
I'm a sucker for video games and cartoons.
Yeah.
So it's why Sweden and Italy for the view. And
Mm.
honestly, the technology in Sweden
Mm.
is kind of
Yes.
intriguing for me, to be honest.
Yep.
And Japan,
Yeah.
because scenery, anime, games,
Yeah.
it's my heaven. So I
Absolutely.
really want to see that.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure you will have your opportunity eventually. I was actually amazed when I was first I haven't been so many places, a few different countries, but it was the
Hmm.
first time when I was traveling on my own. I was actually amazed compared to what I thought when a lot of people feel very trapped of, like, oh, I don't have the money to be able to do and stuff like that. I mean, you can travel so much cheaper than people think. And using just like a combination of couch surfing and Airbnb is literally like free to extremely cheap compared to everyone being like, oh, I gotta, like, whenever people are talking about plan a trip, they're always like, oh, the flight and the hotel. And I'm like, why would you get a hotel? Where, like,
Yeah,
especially if you're worried about I mean, for a number of reasons, but especially if you're worried about the price, why don't let hotel be your only, like, option that's in your head? Because you save double doing, I won't go on a rant about this too much, but, like, I've had so many people ask about it, and I have to tell them this, and it's like, if you decide to stay in an Airbnb and pay, half or less of what you would for a hotel, or even couch surf, and you stay with someone who likes to meet like other people, and like you're staying with someone and you have like a host there,
mm,
wherever you're traveling, one, you're saving a ton on the hotel, but what people also don't think about is the food. You don't have a kitchen in a hotel room, and you can
yeah.
literally, if you're staying in an apartment, like, you can literally just cook some of your own stuff. Like, some of them, you don't have to be eating out for every single meal, or and so you save a lot that way. I think people can have those adventures cheaper than they think.
It's funny you bring that up. Actually, there's
All right.
a YouTuber I watch. It's the Vagrant Savage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He travels. He travels around the world,
Yeah.
right? And he brings a sleeping bag. He just
Mm-hmm.
sleeps like outside.
Yeah.
He saves a shit like a ridiculous amount of money, gets to travel around the whole world
Right.
to from place to place, and he does a whole review of the country
Yeah. Yeah.
while trying to save as much money as he can. And he
Mm-hmm.
tells you at the end like how much the trip cost, how
Mm.
much it would have cost to get the ticket, how much all the food costed him, and he tells you all the things that he brought along with him. So that way
Yeah.
you know like what he brought along and what to minus off the list sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really intriguing and
Interesting.
interesting, and I definitely feel the same too. I'm a sucker for like survival sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like when it comes to that sort of idea, like I get really excited.
You would have
I really want to try that one day.
you
Like
would
definitely.
you'd love Sweden. It's literally a law called Allemansrätten, which is it's basically like every man's right kind of translated, and it's literally you can just go like pitch a tent and sleep wherever you want, like in nature, even if it's someone's land. So like they have to even if so like if it's just like some rich fuck that has like owns a bunch of forest, they can't be like get off my property like USA. Like it's literally like if they're not using the
Yeah.
land for something, and I forget it's a limited number of nights or something. But if you want, you're like hiking through that part of the forest, and you're like I'm just gonna
Oh
just
man,
stay
it would
here.
be
Like this is just where I'm gonna
absolutely
sleep.
awesome.
Then like that's
Mm-hmm.
legally protected. It's supposed to be the law is supposed to be like that the nature and like that aspect of the land
And that's the
belongs to
thing,
everyone.
like if you're respectable, you clean up your rubbish, pick up everything with you, keep the place as tidy as you found it, or if not more, then like, yo, like there's no problem with that, right? Like there should be no problem anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's largely like it's like for there's probably some nuances, but like un say like undeveloped land, so it's not like oh you know homeless people are sleeping in my bean fields every
Yeah.
night or something, like for
Yeah,
a
yeah,
farmer
yeah.
or something like that, but if you have a bunch of acres of forest or if it's just, not necessarily, it's just public land, you're out of park, wherever, so it's pretty cool. You can do that for sure. Just looking
100%.
through chat here. Thank you for those gifted subs. You're very kind. I will do the freestyles for them afterwards. Airbnb is running for a house market. People can't live because the work is too expensive. B&B is part of this. Airbnb has its problems as well, and it's developed over the years to be a little bit different. But there's also a lot of issues with this. Is a completely different thing. But there's also issues with when it comes to apps and different things like that, with laws and the way that they don't necessarily move very quickly and catch up with new ways of doing things, which can create problems where there shouldn't be. But back to the questions. Ash says, would he, that's you, rather own a horse the size of a cat that could sleep on your bed, or a cat the size of a horse that you could set on people? Big question for you there, buddy.
Oh, to be honest, I think I'll go with the cat, man. Like, I mean, there's something about like,
Well,
if you
the
have a
giant
cat that
cat.
size, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, surely you can put a saddle on it.
Right? That's actually,
Surely.
when I was reading the question, I thought it was going to end with that you could ride. Like, I actually thought that's where it was going for the cat
Yeah,
part
I mean,
of it.
like, bro, like, imagine like going for a hunt with your cat. Like,
Yeah.
you just be on its back, and then the cat's like prowling and stuff, and you're just like, alright, I'm ready too. Like,
Oh, man.
but yeah, a tiny horse would be kind of cute too. Okay.
Amazing. Let's, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here, and then actually, I need to reset an audio thing before I do the freestyles to make it work right, so I'm going to restart stream after we hang up here. But thanks so much for agreeing to do this, and I cannot wait to work on some stuff with you, and you mentioned about the mixing and mastering, like that kind of stuff. Definitely don't feel like it's an annoyance to ask or something. I really enjoy like working with other people's music and like teaching and stuff like that as well. So it's all it is better practice for me, because it's not the same voice I've worked on for 3 years or whatever. That I'm,
Yeah.
learning how to
No,
make someone
dude,
else sound the best I can as well. So
absolutely freaking honored and appreciate you for taking the time and like helping me out, agreeing to help me work on it and polish my stuff up. So
of course,
and, it's been an awesome time on here.
anything you want to leave people with who are listening or watching or in the live, how about this, where they can find you, your time frame for when you would hope to release the next song, you are gonna be putting out. You can be
Yep.
you know, wishful thinking on this.
Hmm.
And then just any closing thoughts you would like to leave.
You guys can find me on all social media. Sanjioker, that's Sanjioker.
I'm gonna shout you out in the
Uh,
chat right now on the live as well.
Yo, thank you. In terms of my next track, I'm actually doing a thing where I'm trying not to have a release date, but
Mhm.
in terms of just until I have the mix and mastering done, so I have the
Mhm.
final track ready.
Smart man.
Uh, but in terms of that, you can kind of try to expect it within the next month or two, hopefully.
Mhm.
That's being very hopeful. So,
Yeah.
other than that, yo, please make sure you guys chase your dreams and what you're interested in. Uh, it's what I did, and it's got me here, man.
Yeah.
Be realistic with yourself and follow your interests, 100%.
Lovely.
Thank you
Lovely.
again for letting me up here as well.
Yeah, my friend. We'll talk very soon. I'll probably message you later on tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and hang out now, or hang up now. But have a great rest of your day, my friend.
Nah, thank you so much again. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy the bars, guys. Make sure you enjoy that up. Take care.
Peace.